I saw these when these came to the show, and it's been like many other tools that I've discovered since doing the show. When I saw these, I was really amazed. And to PT Industries, the manufacturer of these stands for us, hey, you guys do make a really great product, and probably owe them an apology to a degree.
Yep.
These things are incredible. I have sawhorses that we used to carry in the back of our trucks.
Yeah, those plastic ones you buy for $20.
No, mine were steel, but they're big and heavy.
$25.
Big and heavy. No, these were big money too. But they were big and heavy. And the plastic ones that you get at the home center are, just frankly, junk. They really are truly throwaway. You use them a few times, and are you having a problem?
Yeah, these are not real easy to put together, though. I'll tell you that.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. And the fun times start again.
All right.
You need help there?
No, I can do it. I can do it.
There you go. Let me help you out there.
Yeah, okay.
It's really not a two-man setup.
Yeah.
But
At what point do you want me to add in?
but the point is these are very light. This is all 1/8-inch aluminum wall, square tubular steel.
Yep.
As you can see this way, I don't know which camera will grab that. But so they're very strong. The square tubular steel is once again very strong. They're held together once again very simply, and John's connected that one up by.
That only took me a few minutes.
but and maybe a way to do it would just be to kind of open one side, insert the.
Well, I don't know how many guys actually.
Put the pins in?
Well, no, they put the pins in, definitely. But see, now you can't do it any better than I can.
I'm doing very nicely, thank you.
This is like the parents putting the bicycles together on Christmas Eve.
Well, I know I don't want to work with you on Christmas Eve. Anyway, there we go. Put together, nice, simple, and clean. Now, these are where the peanut gallery is going nuts tonight. Holy cow!
Safety first.
Yeah, safety first. That's right.
The mouths never stop, and they're not ours either.
All right, so once you get this built, what do you do with it?
Well, then you take it and...
Look at that. All right. Oh, this is nice.
This is actually great. And it should be pointed out, these come in 4-foot, 8-foot, and 12-foot lengths.
Right, and we have one fabricator, Ernie, who was on our show 1 week. Right? Ernie was here, right?
He was.
God. Yeah. Anyway, he works out of the back of his truck.
Uh-huh.
On a trailer. And he actually cut one of these to 2-foot. So he has a... My eyes just doing this weird...
Did he have his medication before the show? Okay.
Anyway, he cut a 2-foot section, and he just uses it, since it's a small portable area, if he just has to support one end of like an L-top or something, he uses the 2-foot section. Doesn't really draw them together.
Uh-huh. So, and once again, it should be said, this is just, what this is aluminum, and I'm probably not going to say this right, but...
It's aluminium.
No, aluminum angle iron, although iron, I'm sure, is not the right word since it's aluminum.
It's aluminum angle.
Aluminum
How about
angle,
that?
okay,
aluminum
there it
angle,
is.
Right.
Okay, so
but it's really aluminium.
Okay,
That's
aluminium.
really what it's pronounced.
Okay.
Ask Trevor from...
Whatever he said. And you can buy this, not obviously, but you can buy the stands by themselves.
Right.
Or you can buy them with the aluminum angle.
Right, but if you're going to try to buy the angle locally, you have to make sure that you buy extruded aluminum that doesn't have an inside web. This is 90 degrees on the inside, and that's very important for the way it works into the stand.
Now, you could also use steel if you wanted to.
You could. Absolutely.
And that would be something easy to obtain locally, probably cheaper than the aluminum.
Right.
I'm going to let John show you, because I think this is really cool, and it was one of the things, again, that kind of was discovered today, all the different ways you can configure this.
Well, obviously, Ken, you can put this in.
You can what now?
Now, come on.
Over there. Need some help?
Yes, right there. That fits in like that, or you can turn it around, and you get a more narrow working surface.
Okay, which is the way we have it set up now.
Or you can stand it up on edge like this, or you can turn it around and stand it up on edge like this, Or you can flip this around and get a wider, higher area too. So no matter what you want to do, and then all you do is when you get the aluminum in to place, you just tighten these thumb screws just to snug them up a little bit, just to hold it.
Yeah.
Normally a fabricator would work with a piece of 2x4 right across here. And then that way they have room to get their clamps up underneath, spring clamps and things like that. Or if you want to clamp right to the surface, you can.
Mm-hmm. And once again, something that you want to really make sure you plan on doing is using something to give you a continuous plate. Once again, it could be used 2x4s, it could be a piece of plywood or flake board,
Right.
but something because you're not going to get these to be self-leveling.
No, they're not.
So you've got to really pay attention to that in the field. You want to either work on a flat surface or use something to go across spans to help get everything and keep it flat.
Now, I certainly suppose that you could make yourself small shims if you needed to raise this surface, slide it under, and then lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
You could easily adjust these up and down, like this if this were cambered or something.
Mm-hmm.
But normal instances, you don't need a level surface, you need a flat surface
Correct.
to fabricate on.
Correct. And that would be the main thing to shoot for in that regard. But once again, I mean, a great tool, a simple tool, and really once you've had to work with something in the field that was cumbersome, I'm well persuaded that these are a phenomenal value. I know you had a set of 8-foot rails right there.
Yes, we do, right.
And once again, this is one of the lengths that it comes in standard.
And then, of course, you would spread that out wider, obviously.
But it gives you an idea. Now just simply by doing that and maybe moving these a little bit further apart, now we would have an 8-foot bench, portable in the field, light, easy to set up, easy to break down and put away. Doesn't require hardly any storage space at all.
Right.
And once again, the big thing that I'm really impressed with more than anything is how light this is.
Right, it is.
And when you've worked all day and you're tired, weight is a big thing.
Now, do you suppose you could use these for fabricating engineered stone as well? Do you think they would handle it?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, these things are made so well. These legs aren't going to go anywhere.
You could probably put a board up here and put a motorcycle on top of this, couldn't you?
Well, I'll tell you what. I did ask Rick what he thought about what the weight limitations were on these, and he said he thought on a set of stands at probably about 500 pounds.
Okay. I think you could go more than that, but that's all right.
I think he's being conservative, but that's what the manufacturer is willing to
Great.
say you can comfortably work on. Now, obviously, if you put another set of legs on here,
You're going to increase that weight capacity, sure.
Exponentially.
Yep.
It's going to go up. So,
Expo who?
Expo what? Expedius.
Expedience.
Expedius, that's where you go, yeah. So anyway, we'll let this fly out of here now. And we'll let John raise up our bench, and we'll get...
We get a couple small tools to go over that we didn't get to last week because of our laughing session. We kind of got sidetracked, and so we're going to go over those real quick for you. And we'll get this up to a comfortable working height again.
Which is something that you can do.
Right. And my comfortable working height is much different than yours.
Which is
Open
one of the
that
real
up.
benefits to having that table.
Okay. One of the things that I'd like to talk about that we sell quite a few of, let me just get a clamp here, is that scraper right there.
Now, you could even use our trough for that.
Well, you could. I guess we could just stand that right up in there if you want
Can I
to.
pull the switch?
Sure you can. Go ahead. Pull the switch. Oh, all right. This is a carbide scraper, and this is used for many industries. I mean, from scraping paint to automotive, they scrape engine blocks with it. If they're going to put head gaskets on, you can scrape gasket material. One thing that's nice for solid surface, now this is obviously not the application for it like this, but you can see you can either push or pull it and actually scrape the material down. So if you want to take off any excess seam material, or one thing that we sell it a lot for is if you put a bowl in and you route the bowl, and there's a little bit of an edge around where the router hasn't got it, you can actually take that and run that around the bowl and just keep scraping that and scrape that in rather than having to sand it, and it'll take off that excess material.
Now, you use that on your feet, don't you?
On my feet. I don't know. Tell me how.
Well, forget it. We'll just let it go. Now, you can have that resharpened, can't you?
Yes, you can. This is a solid piece of carbide in here, and this can easily be sharpened. And I mean, the thing is going to last forever. I mean, really. There's just so many things that you can do with a scraper. Just, scraping material off a table. If you have a work table and you get a lot of glue on it, you just take it and scrape it off. If you've got adhesive that's, excess adhesive that's on a top, you can just scrape it real quick, take it right off. You name it. I mean, anything you can use a scraper for. So that is the Super Scraper, and this is available. See how nice I'm holding that now, so we can get a beauty shot of that.
You're trained well.
Oh, yes. You can scrape your heels with it. Scrape all that. That's what you were talking about. Okay. Down in Florida here, when we wear sandals, we get all that callus on our heels. But I don't know. Maybe I could start selling these to the little nail shops, and they can scrape your feet with them. Anyway, come on. Let's stop kidding around here. People want to learn. They don't want to laugh. Okay. This is a Super Scraper. This is available in 1 1/4 and 2.5 inches, I believe. 2 inch, Kim? 2 1/4, 1.5 2 1/4. Great scraper, very nice. You'll have it forever until somebody steals it.
One of the things I want to show, and we didn't get it in time for last week's program.
I don't know why this one amazes you. This is just a.
I think it is cool. I've never seen it before. I'm from the Northeast, from up in Boston, and a lot of times we'd make countertops, and we would have to cut vent grooves in the back because people would have steam heat. They'd have old radiators. And we might have a top in a bathroom or sometimes in a small brownstone kitchen, and they had to make a way for the heat to escape from behind either cabinetry or a steam radiator that might have been under the countertop.
Right.
And we were forever trying to cut grooves in it, and we would try to round them over and hand sand them out and finish them up, and that was always a pain in the butt. I saw this bit right here, and I'll put it right here, and maybe our camera can zoom right in on that. But that router bit from Amana is meant to plunge through the material, and as you can see, if you look right here, it actually has a radius built right onto it. So it will plunge through the 1/2 inch material. When you cut your slot and raise back up, it will leave a perfect radius on the top. You've got yourself a nice venting slot.
Oh, you're talking for solid surface material.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking wood.
Now you're a little bit more excited about it, aren't you? Okay. Well, see, he's come over to the dark side.
No,
now.
I was thinking like, plastic laminate countertops, wood things like that. I wasn't thinking solid surface.
I think solid surface. You think laminate. That's where we come from.
Okay.
He's a very thin, shallow person. I'm solid and thick.
Okay.
So, well, thick. I guess I'm not stupid, but that's what it implies.
Go ahead.
But anyway, would you hold this for me? Thank you. So anyway, this will cut the radius on the top. It actually it cuts like that. And that's just, once again, simple things for simple people. But I thought that was a really cool little bit, and thanks to Amanda for sending it to us. And I wanted to make sure that got shown.
While we're talking about router bits, and I won't get into shaft lengths and things like that. We'll just, talk about the router bit. This is brand new. This is really kind of cool. We actually had the manufacturer make this for us because I saw a need for it in solid surface. And what this is it's a flush cutter.
Not laminate?
Not laminate. Solid surface.
Now it makes sense.
This is a flush cutter, and this has a bearing on the bottom, and it also has a bearing on the top. So this can be used as a template cutter with a top bearing, or you can route running against the bottom edge of the countertop or the template. So these are going to be available very shortly. This is a very popular size for us. This is
2 inch.
This is 2-inch cut length, I believe, but it's a 3/4 inch diameter cutter. 7/8 actually. I'm sorry.
Now you can actually use this also for flush cutting a countertop too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Right. So either template cutting, or a lot of guys will. Everybody fabricates different. Some guys fabricate upside down. They use their deck for the template. So they would route with the ball bearing on the bottom, riding along their deck. Other guys route to templates. Our template corners, right there, these here.
But the great thing about this is with this bit, you can go either way.
Exactly, right. And I know you like to go either way, so. This would ride on the template like that, and you would be cutting the material underneath, right?
Very flexible.
All right,
That's what I like.
very good.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so that's all I have to say about that bit.
And I'm glad. And we did it without cracking up.
Right.
Okay, what have you got there?
These are for nose hairs.
And get them they will.
No, actually, these are really great shears. Let me...
Great, I'm sorry, great what?
I'm sorry, great pullers, not shears. Hold on a second. All right.
And John was prepared for
Okay,
this segment.
here.
That's what I like about him.
Pretend you're a rack, okay, a laminate rack, all right? And a lot of times, it's really hard to get the laminate out of the rack. With this, you can just pull it right out. Okay? But now, see, now, look at. Hold that again. Hold that again. All right, now, I know that anybody that has a laminate shop with vertical racks or horizontal racks has tried so many times to get their hands in and pull a sheet out of the rack, and you just can't do it. You end up cutting your hands up and what have you. With this, you simply grab it. They've got a rubber coating on them. They won't slip. You pull them right out. It's great. I mean, again, it's a goofy little item, but we sell a ton of these to laminate shops.
Now, could you use it for anything other than laminate? Would that work with, let's say, solid surface? Because it's hard pulling those sheets out, too.
Actually, I don't see any reason why you couldn't pull solid surface with it. You know, I mean, it's wide enough. Would that work? Yeah, I suppose you could. It would be nice if it was open a little bit more to give you a more closed. My hands are small, so when it's closed on laminate, this is a good size.
But a man's
when
hand
it's
could
open,
grab this really well.
Yeah, you have man hands.
So,
Yeah.
but no, this is once again, it's another tool that I've seen in our back storeroom, and I know we sell quite a bit of them. But it's the kind of thing that if you don't see it and somebody tells you about it,
And you think, what is anybody going to do with that thing?
but once again, it is more than just a nose hair puller.
Exactly. That's right.
So
Okay.
so that's really cool.
So do we have a beauty shot on this? This is
another thing that I wanted to show people, and we have talked about it before very briefly, but never to any degree that it really deserves, are composite shims.
right.
You know, every carpenter out there that I know uses a bunch of cedar, pine, and pine is probably the worst of all, but uses
Right.
a bunch of shims. And the thing that happens with wood shims is they do compress with time.
Right.
So the very purpose you're trying to use the shim for, it's actually going to fail you. That's going to be a problem. The great thing about these composite shims is they're not going to crush. They're also, I could leave this in water and it's going to be unaffected.
Right.
So actually, if you're using it to shim cabinets, if you don't happen to scribe the bases, then people from mopping, the moisture getting a hold, eventually it's just going to destroy the wood shims you've used. These shims will go on and on.
And the water won't wick up through these either into the cabinet,
Yep. So
where they will with wood shims.
So these are absolutely fantastic shims. Now, we do carry them in pine. We do carry them in cedar.
Right.
But once again, I would think, especially for you guys that get involved in high-end applications, and you're really looking for good permanent work, or you're looking for shims for an exterior application where you're really concerned about moisture. You can't
Oh, look at how
beat
nice
these.
those break too.
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize that. That's what the holes are for. They're
Yeah.
designed to break away.
Exactly, right? Gives it a release point, which once again,
And that's
a lot
nice
of
and
times
clean.
you're trying to cut with a razor knife. With these, it's not that critical, and you get a very
Right.
clean break. Very clean break. And essentially, they're
Very
in
nice.
quarter-inch increments as far
Very
as
nice.
traveling.
Yep, that's great.
So probably the variation maybe is the most, maybe a 30-second? 30-second in elevation increments. So once again, a great, great tool to be aware of.
Okay.
So now, I know we're really running out of time on this segment here.
Can we hold up on commercial for a minute, guys? Sure. We can, okay? Because we're in control.
If you're holding those, you
Look
are.
at these. Power cut. These are pretty cool. Why don't you show us what those do?
Okay. These have a lot of applications, some more frightening than others. But,
Cutting T-molding would be good. You know, plastic PVC T-molding.
yeah, and actually any sort of small PVC molding.
Okay.
The thing that I was impressed with is I actually just took a piece of
And again, we know you're
quarter round.
easily impressed.
I am. It doesn't take much.
Right.
However, if I take it and squeeze it, well, it didn't work as well as it did in real life.
I don't like that.
There it goes. Anyways,
Okay.
it'll cut through that, and that's a substantial piece of wood. One of the things we were doing earlier is A lot of guys, when they take and they cut
This is
their
like a
shims-
bobbit.
I'm sorry, Lorena? The, as you can see, it will easily remove excess, and it gives you a clean cut.
Now, I can't imagine when you'd have excess,
No,
especially with a bobbit cutter.
that's right. You got to be careful with this.
Rubber tubing.
Yeah, rubber tubing. I couldn't imagine.
Weather,
But yeah, if
weather stripping, anything like that.
you're just a sick human being. The I want to point out too, it comes with an extra blade and a holder for it, which is great because obviously something that cuts as well as this does, and it will shave cut. I want to show that too.
You could actually trim like branches and stuff with that too.
I would
Flowers, you could cut flowers.
I would guess you could cut just about anything you wanted to. As you can see, very smooth cutting, very clean cutting.
Yep.
Just a great tool. It's easy to get a phenomenal amount of leverage. I was impressed with what it could deliver, but it cuts through these like nothing.
Of course, you really don't have to cut through those because you can just break them.
I know, but if you had a shim and you wanted to get them to length, if you had your wood shims, instead of having to take and cut them
Right?
with your razor knife and taking 3 or 4 strokes, you can do it with one clip here. One clip is better than 3 or 4 strokes.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, Ken.
So, see what you think about that.
Appreciate it. That's power
You're
cut.
gonna do a beauty shot.
This is a booty shot with my new bobbit cutter. Okay, well,
Can we please go to commercial
let's go
now?
to commercial now. We'll be back shortly, and afterwards we got some flooring tools.
If I'm still here.
That's right.